I've chosen this topic because I've been a fan of Mario Kart for over a decade, and I feel like the gameplay as well as its community and music is also a special part of why I've stuck with this franchise for so long. There's uh, there's lots of different soundtracks throughout the entirety of the games that have a passion to talk about. From the very little title to the last, I look at how the music has been used in the games overall. There are different styles and possible leitmotifs found in them, as well as the history and influence from from the making of these. Through research and personal watches, I've been inspired to make this from people like Thomas Game Docs, Shafarilas Productions, Summoning Salt, Silok Hawk, and Jim D. Blue. Each of them and more has helped with the research of this essay, as well as personally with the connection with me and the Mario Kart series. I'll get a lot of my info about the history of Mario Kart's music from Thomas GameStop's videos, as they specifically covered that subject a lot. Opinions on the music and the games will come from other people. The specific question I'm trying to answer with my research is how Mario Kart music enhances your experience. It's an interesting question because of why the gameplay is so fun. Yeah, it may be because of the amounts of play testing and the movement and the community, the two different things you can play, Grand Prix and time trial. But I feel like music is it's as important as the movement of the gameplay, and I think it's important to talk about how influential the music has been to the franchise as a whole. I will introduce the key areas that I will discuss in my dissertation by showing my primary and secondary research. My primary being the survey I've made, and the secondary being other sources I've gotten from YouTube. The main method I used to gather my primary research was my survey. I think it went really successful, as I got 14 responses, and they were all really useful. Even the ones that said, I don't know, or no. I've chosen this research method because I find making up my own questions and getting other people to answer them is the most efficient way to get some interesting information, in my opinion. I think it's effective because it's more easy to find the answers if it's in a survey, something I've made, and I can do specific questions in it and customize it how I want. I can also send it to loads of different people, and there's not really any barrier to that. Like I have said, I've used research from people like Thomas Game Docs and other people to get my research. I'll mention them whenever I say about my research. I've made sure the research is organized and clear by answering specific questions, like how much have you played Mario Kart games, which ones, what songs you are into, and why. I have even made a quiz at the end where you can guess the song that's being played to see how iconic the music is, or how recognizable it is around the internet. My findings connect to my research question, how Mario Kart music enhances your experience. I can find that in my primary research being my survey, where I can see a list of people's favorite courses and what makes them their favorites with the music in them. So for a person that's anonymous, the top 5 tracks were Coconut Mill, Mount Wario, Bowser's Castle, Rainbow Road, and Big Blue. What I found interesting is how they give an answer for Big Blue, saying it's an endurance test with a really cool final lap announcer, and it just really pumps them up. especially on 200cc. They chose Mount Wario in the optional section that I gave because every section of the track is different and the transitions are really smooth. Another anonymous person in optional section said Hyrule Circuit and Animal Crossing are themed after their two favourite video game worlds. The music is also very cute, and the consideration of details is evident. With another anonymous person, the music was effective with them as a young child with Wario's Goldmine. As they said, they have very distinct memories of the fast-paced music, causing them to panic, but in a good way, especially on the final lap. I think the use of live instruments in Mario Kart 8 has an effect on people with the surroundings in the game. My point to back this up is with this person again, before they said their optional section, is their favourite parts of the courses. It's the aesthetics and OSTs mostly. They find themselves getting much more immersed in these courses, with each part falling into place while also offering enjoyable gameplay at the same time. I'd say while the music in Mario Kart 8 has live instruments to make the surroundings more immersive, I do really appreciate the music in the previous games, as they all have such different styles in every single game. Each game has different composers, and I think that's really interesting. While I do enjoy the other music in the other games, it's interesting how Nagata, the person who went on to become the sound designer of Mario Kart 8, thought virtual instruments was not good enough and said, quote, "It was felt that live recorded music would work really well in conjunction with high definition graphics. It really creates a vibrant live feeling and amplifies the scale of the game as a whole." Which I do definitely agree. I feel like Mario Kart 8 has definitely the strongest soundtrack in the series, even though I really like the music in the different games, with Mario Kart Wii being a personal favourite, as I was a huge fan of that at the time. I think special tracks like Rainbow Road is very memorable. To quote from another anonymous person from my survey, they said it's one of the only ones they remember playing. The music being fun and playful represented the joy and playfulness in the game. I can also find this opinion from Fred the Monty Mole's opinions on SNES Rainbow Road and its music. The horn section plays the most rewarding triumphant chord progression imaginable, and it's almost sentimental, as if it's reflecting on how far you've come. I personally find Rainbow Road enjoyable in all of the games because each song represents how colourful and dangerous, as well as intense and almost impossible, the track is. I really like how it's a challenge, as well as keeping your composure with the amazing music playing. I think a strong selection of instruments, as well as a really good melody, can make a great song in Mario Kart. An example is from Shafrila's Productions song review on Moonview Highway, saying everything about this song is consistently exciting and awe-inducing. There isn't really a single dull moment in this entire thing. I can definitely agree with that because of what instruments have been used in that track for the Mario Kart 8 deluxe version. While one of the highlights being its dynamicness, changing the song while in the tunnel. I think it emphasizes the strong use of instruments even more because of the two different styles, being more synthy video game based and jazz based when in the tunnel. The melody is also really iconic, as I can just think of it in my head and enjoy it. I think the key areas and aspects I found most important in my research was definitely the opinions and the history of the Mario Kart music. because it shows how popular it is and how many people like it. While being different in every single game, everybody can enjoy it. Everybody can enjoy a different song, or multiple. In conclusion, my research has made me realize Mario Kart music enhances your experience by its intensity, ways of accurately matching the tracks it's used on. Lots of other things like dynamicness, a good melody, instruments. Yeah, my findings definitely answered my research question. The game Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the best selling a Nintendo game ever, and it's in what the top 10 best selling games. While definitely the gameplay takes a part, I can see the music working with that high number because of its use of live instruments and how amazing the music is. If Mario Kart 8 Deluxe had no music at all, or just like lackluster, unfitting music, I don't think it would have been this popular as of today. I also think it's interesting how there's two different ranking videos for every single Mario Kart song ever made, yeah. It shows how much passion this community has for the game in the franchise. I've learned that history is important to make good music. A lot of the inspiration from the earlier games were from jazz fusion bands like Dimension. I've also learned that my primary research, while pretty effective, didn't really come out the best I've hoped. I tried to make it where anybody can answer, but I think I made it too late and didn't get any responses on the opinions of if somebody who hasn't played Mario Kart has heard the song before in my quiz section. I think the quiz was really fun to make and to see the different answers, but it didn't really help much in my research. I think I just did that for fun. It was interesting how people didn't really know the track names, but they did kind of understand the song. Yes, that was my question on how Mario Kart music enhances your experience. Bye.